Oh, hello. It's Gartshore's garage time, which means no organs today. It means I'm jumping into my overalls. Aha! You've never seen me like this before, have you? In my other channel, I'm an organist in a church. In this channel, I'm playing with cars. And today, we're going to change the oil on this 10-year-old Audi diesel. So, you've got to get down and dirty, and you've got to get all these plastic screws out of the way so that we can get in at where the oil plug is. So on an Audi, it's just a whole lot of screws, and you've just got to remove them. See you in a minute. The joys of doing this in your own home, in your own private garage, you've obviously got no room, but never mind. But good news and bad news. Got the pan off and there's no sort of fresh oil, so we're not leaking anything. That's good. Something has come down here. I think that's probably some old, it smells like steering fluid, so I think that's come off at some point. I've got a lid of something, which is always rather nice to find, but more importantly, I found this little rubber chap. So I need to find out where he's fallen from. It's rather worrying, or hopefully not worrying. Maybe it's just something that's fallen out of the engine, but we need to find that, where it's from. And we'll see what we can do. So anyway, finally we've got the pan off. Now it's time to get to the oil plug, let the old oil out, fill it up with some new oil, and we'll have a look, see what else is down there. Right, engine cover is out of the way. You just pull it off and throw it to one side, not a problem. And then that gets you access to the oil filter, which lives here. And all you need for the oil filter is a 32mm tool, which you just get in there. And then undo that. It shouldn't be on too tight. This should only ever be hand tight. It's a plastic cover. Now I'm just undoing it basically by hand now to let some air through, which lets the oil out a little easier. I'm going to change the filter in a minute, obviously. But I have one of these. I bought a new bolt, and it's a proper bolt with a 14mm sort of end on it, and it's not a stupid little Allen bolt that most Audis actually come with. So, once again, lying on the ground, just fitting under the car, thanks to my big fat stomach, and hitting my face as well. Because this is on so tight with this little Allen key, basically, I have to use this chap as an extension to loosen it. Now, of course, I've got my... I, of course, have my... Come on. I, of course, have my... There we go. My oil pan ready to catch all the oil. You just need to loosen it very, very quickly and then get the oil chap ready, because the oil will immediately start dripping out, as you can see. Now, something that is rather good is the oil drips out vertically. It's not one of those cars where it drips out at an angle, which is rather good. So what I'm just going to do is get my fingers up out of the way, see if I can catch this as it comes. There we go, and it drips straight into my catch pan, and only 2 drops on the floor. Yes, we're getting better. So we just wait for that to drip out, and then in goes the new oil. I'm going to open up the oil filler thing as well. That just lets a little more air through, lets the oil out a bit faster. And with rather a lot of paper here, I'm now going to remove the oil filter, which is huge and absolutely disgusting. So catch that with a bit of paper. I need to remove the lid. It just pops into the lid like that. So I'm going to clean that out in a minute. But one of the first things we need to do is remove this old O-ring, because in the new filter, there it is, we have a new filter and we have a new O-ring. So I have to replace that. So can I get that off just with my hands? Sometimes you can, sometimes you need to pick it off. I think I'll go and get a little pick. I'll get it off like that. So I'm just going to, I've got a little pick, remove that, and then in here we want to sort of clean that out a little bit. It's not too bad because the oil was certainly not in bad shape. It's only had about 25,000 kilometers, and it's long life oil that we used, which is due for about 30,000. And as we drive very sensibly The oil's in pretty good nick, as you can see. It's still got a bit of original oil colour to it. Okay, so we clean that out a little bit. That looks pretty good to me. Now the new filter's going in a minute, but not yet. I'm going to get this chap on first though. Let me just pull him around. And it sort of fits in there, make sure it's sitting the right way around. It's actually a slightly different kind of O-ring to the other one. This is a more square one rather than a round one. But it fits in the groove absolutely perfectly. That's rather good. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a fingerful of oil and rub around the O-ring there so it'll seal properly and it won't move. And that's fine. And the new oil filter will snap into place. There's this little thing at the bottom that's got its own little hole down there, which we have to find in a minute, but I'm going to pop it in here first. It just clips in like that. And then get this chap down into here. Perfect. And you can already hear the rubber catching as it goes. So we'll tighten that up, get rid of the old one, and I'll be back in a minute. So once this is in snug, you just give it a little tweak to make sure it's nice and tight. Don't ever over tighten a plastic cap like that. That's what the rubber seal is inside for. It holds the pressure and it holds the oil back. Now I'm going to leave everything here open because once we've got the new oil in and everything closed up, we're going to let the engine run and make sure that everything is snug and that nothing is going to leak. Now I think we better check what's going on down below. By now most of the old oil should be out and it's time to close up and put the new oil back in. Okay, so the last little drops are draining out of the oil plug hole. Now we could wait forever until it's all out, but like I say, the oil is not in bad shape, so I'm just going to put the new screw in with its new copper washer, and it's a proper new bolt, as you can see. Oh, look at that, isn't that marvellous? I'm just going to clean around there. And once this is all done, I'm going to get some brake cleaner and spray that around a little bit. Make sure that's okay. And again, this only gets sort of really hand tightened. You should really never, there aren't proper torque settings for these things, but after years of doing this, you sort of get a feeling for it, and you should never be too tight about these things. So we're just going to leave that for a minute. I'm going to tighten it up by hand. It's a 14mm bolt, so I need a 14mm socket. We'll tighten that up, and then it's time for the new oil. We're getting there. Did I say 14? I meant 19mm. I got the 14s to do with the thread, not the size of the bolt. So 19mm. Get that on, and just give it a bit of a tighten there. Nothing too wonderful. Get in there. That will do. Quickly rub that again. So make sure there's no oil dripping out there. Keep an eye on that for half a minute, and we should be good to go. So while I'm waiting to make sure that that's all right, I'm just going to have a quick look around under here. And it's always a good idea if you've got the belly pan off the car and you can get under it to have a good look and make sure everything's all right. Now, in about 6 or 8 weeks' time, this car's due its TÜV test. That's what it's called in Germany. So that's like your MOT in the UK, and I'm not honestly sure what the American equivalent is, but every 2 years the car has to go for a sort of safety test, basically. And what they do is they check all the moving and important parts of the car, so brakes and suspension, and they check your emissions and all that sort of thing. And they want to make sure that the car's in good condition and it's roadworthy. So it's always a good idea to sort of check underneath the car and have a look at those parts. And the parts I'm looking at are going to be here for the anti-roll bar and where it joins in there, and of course these chaps, the control arms, lower and upper. Now I actually know that for the test 2 years ago, and this is before we had this car, it actually failed its test because of the control arms, the lower and upper. It's an Audi problem, and they had to be replaced, and that's an incredibly expensive and time-consuming job, and I'm actually very glad that the previous owner did that. It means we don't have to. But looking around everything, the rubber boots on either side there, everything it looks brand new actually. It really does look good. There's a tiny little bit of surface rust here. That's got nothing to do. It's not worrying at all. That's, you know, it's a 10-year-old car. There's obviously going to be a little bit, but surface rust. What I could do, I could take a wire brush to that, spray over it a bit with some protectant, and that would keep that at bay for now. But I've had a good look around. The brakes are in perfectly good condition, so actually very happy. And most importantly, no oil is leaking from our plug, so we can go upstairs and put in some fresh oil. That's the easy part. And of course, when you've got the engine open like this, it's always a good idea to inspect what's going on up here as well. And well, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, this is a 6-cylinder diesel engine, and all you can basically do here is, well, you could do the injectors at some point, but they're okay. You have your little, what are they called? What are they called in English? They're not spark plugs. They're sort of glow. What are they called? Glow something. Glow plugs? I can't remember what they're called in English. Isn't that terrible? I've been living in Germany for too long. I can't remember. But they need to be changed about once every 500,000 kilometers, so no worry of that yet. And the only other thing you can do is the diesel filter. But I changed that last year before we went on holiday, just after we bought the car, when we did our first change of everything. The steering fluid has already been changed. The coolant has been changed, and the brake fluid is up there, and that's actually perfectly well done. That was when they changed the control arms. They did that as well, so absolutely fine. As you can see, it's generally very clean. There are no leaky bits. There are no funny smells, which is rather good. So yeah, everything is perfectly in order. Now don't forget, this car's got 250,000 kilometers on it. But it's always been regularly serviced, and that's the most important thing about cars of this age. Keep servicing them, keep them up to date, especially with oil. Yeah, the engine, you know, it wears and tears over the years, and some people suggest when they get older you should use different kinds of oils. Now, for other kinds of cars that may be true, but for Audi and Volkswagen that is definitely not true, which is why I only use, and it's probably more expensive than other oils, but I buy this on the internet. And this is proper Volkswagen Audi oil, and for an oil change in this car you need just over 8 litres. So yeah, if you're going to do it properly, then use the proper oils as well. So we're going to pour in the new oil, start her up, make sure everything's running properly and smoothly, nothing's leaking, and then we're good to go. I don't think you need to watch me fill it up with oil, do you? But we'll start it off and see what happens then. So what do you do with the empty oil canisters? Well, it's quite simple. You pour the old oil into them, and then you take them to the local tip or the rubbish dump, and they will take them off you for a small fee. Or if you buy oil from a registered oil vendor or seller, then you can actually usually take it back to them free of charge. Old oil, that is. And because I buy my oil on the internet, I just take it to the local tip, and for a very small amount of money. I mean, it costs something like, something like 80 cents per litre or something. So we're talking here, well, if I fill 2 of these, I've got some more old oil in another one, so I'll swap them around, fill them up, and you know, you take it back. So what's that? Let's say 10 litres. It's only going to be €8 to get rid of all that old oil, and it's environmentally friendly, and we're not just throwing it away. So I've just poured in 8 litres of oil. Now don't forget, it says 8.2 litres for the whole thing with filter, but it hasn't sort of gone through the engine yet. There's no oil in the new filter and things like that. So the engine, we're going to turn the engine on in a second and let that run. First of all, I'm just going to clean all the crap out of the way here, and then put this lid on. Now we're going to start the car, let the engine run, and then let it run for a minute or so. I'm going to check that nothing's leaking. I'm going to let it run through all the different bits, and then I'm going to check the oil level, top it up as necessary, and we're finished. I don't know if you can hear me shouting over the noise of the engine, but I'm going to let the engine run for about a minute, make sure that everything is clean, there's nothing leaking, certainly not from the oil filter here, make sure that's completely okay. We've revved it a couple of times, And most importantly, that nothing's leaking from underneath the car. As you can tell, it's a diesel. It's a bit noisy, but it sounds in pretty good shape, and that's the important thing. No leaks, certainly no leaks, and underneath, absolutely no leaks. It's bone dry, which is what we want. So now it's time to check the oil level, which I'm going to do. It's so tight here, you end up getting oil everywhere. But I'm going to take this out, give it a good clean. The wonderful thing about good new oil is very easy to read there. So what we're going for, if you've never done this before, do you check your oil regularly? A lot of modern cars, they don't have a proper dipstick. You do it electronically, and I think that's terrible. You can actually buy dipsticks for most cars. They've got just a little plug on top. You can buy a proper dipstick. If that's an option, then please do that, because then you can check it properly yourself. I don't trust the computers that tell you these things. So anyway, right, clean that off. Let's poke them back in and see what the level is. I reckon it's going to need a tiny little bit more. And, oh no, look at that. Absolutely bang on the maximum mark. Yeah, see where it's wet, see where it's dry. It's just exactly where it says max. And that is absolutely perfect. There we are. So that was the oil change complete. Now, what I actually wanted to do today was I wanted to then go on and change the gearbox oil. This car has one of those multi-tronic sort of, what are they called? Multi-tronic. It's not a proper automatic, it's one of those sort of variomatic automatics. And the oil does need to be changed in that as well. But because this is an Audi, it needs specialist tools. And when I say specialist tools, it just needs a special nut to open one of the plugs. Yeah? There's a drain plug and there's a fill plug. And yeah, I don't know if you can see anything here. There's no way of getting oil into the gearbox from here. It all has to happen from underneath the car, which is very annoying, but I have a special trick. So I think we're going to have to save that for another video. I'm going to go and have to order the special nut to get one of those plugs off. So that'll be a future episode of Gartshore's Garage. So after a lot of jiggering around, I've got the car back down on the ground. I had it up on 4 axle stands because I was hoping we were going to do the gearbox oil as well. And of course, if you're jacking something up on 4 axle stands to be completely level, it's almost impossible to get it back down again. After a lot of backwards and forwards, it's down, and it's time for me to remove this little lot and get back to the real world. What does the real world mean? Well, back to being in the world of being an organist. And talking about organs and things, don't forget my other channel, which is just Fraser Gartshore, where I talk about organs and organ music. And this channel, Gartshore's Garage, is where I muck about in my garage at home on old cars. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and don't forget to ring the bell because there are going to be more of these over the next few weeks. And yeah, feel free to tell all your friends and family, and maybe even not your friends and family, but just, yeah, let's see if we can get this channel going as well. I need to practice getting in and out of my overalls a bit better. My wife is laughing like crazy in the background there. Right, I'm a normal person again. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Gartshore's Garage. Bye bye.